T from Kelly T Black Metal Reviews, and I am joined by backing vocalist and guitarist Pixel. He is from the absolutely deadly black metal band Arallu, hailing from Israel. Pixel, welcome. Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, sure.
I've been so
excited
happy
to be joining you. Yep.
For people who might not be familiar with your sound just yet, hopefully they will go and look at your discography after this interview if they're not familiar already. But Arallu do create some devastating black metal. There's some big influence of thrash throughout their sound. They also have that beautiful Oriental Middle Eastern influence, which is very, very emotive. But there's one thing for certain, you guys really do produce brutal black metal, that's for sure. So I want to start at the beginning though, because you guys formed in, well, 1999. Arallu started out as a solo project, which I only recently found that out. So I'd like to know from the beginning, sort of when the band formed and how it sort of came about to get the lineup, and if it was a good synergy to start with, or if you had some teething problems. Just go back to the beginning for me.
All right, I'll try to make it interesting. Well, actually, no. The band is, like you said, it started as a one-man project. Not mine. It was Butchered one-man project. I think around '97, already releasing demos and recording. I wasn't in the band back then, but I was really good friends with Butcher, so I've been along the band since the beginning. I used to sit around with him while he was recording demos on his computer, and he was playing songs for me, and we used to play together in other projects. So I've been around the band since the beginning. So now you have to understand, it's around I think '99 was when the first album was released, and it's not just the reason it happened in 1999 is because for our age we go to the army between the age of 18 to 21. Men in Israel, and basically we got released from the army in 1999. So that's where you kind of have enough time to do a band full time and then release albums and kind of go to a higher gear sort of activity. So that's where things really started to go for this band, and it's very aggressive. The roots of this band start with very, very aggressive thrash and black metal and death metal, and that's a lot of aggression you get after you've been 3 years in the army and you live in a place like Israel. But the main influences were actually the music we were listening to, which is the death metal and the black metal coming from Europe and from the United States, and just added a bit of the local kind of sound, which is Arabic influences. And at the beginning, it was still mostly very, not sort of like atmospheric elements, Arabic elements, something very more, I would say, aggressive, urban kind of elements that eventually became more, I guess, deeper, and as time progressed, because we got older and we got better at our instruments, and we kind of look at things differently as the years passed. But the beginning, I would say, from '97 to about 2007, the first 10 years of Arallu were very aggressive times, and there was very hard times in Israel as well. There was a lot of terrorist attacks here, and a lot of it is based on religion and extremists. So the albums dealt with a lot of that, text-wise, and the music was really about anti-religion, anti-extremist, all that, and about describing kind of the world around us, and also, but kind of giving it like metaphors. A lot of we also talked about demons from the ancient Mesopotamia, and how wars have always been part of this region in the world, and we kind of mishmashed all that together as a concept. And band-wise, it started to be more of a band. I think the second album we already had, it was already a two-man people band. We had a great drummer called Nir Nakav, who plays in a great Israeli band, Salem, And and after that, the next album had already a guitar player as well. And the fourth album was really like a full lineup. And this is around 2007. But I think we started really going full lineup in 2007. That's when I joined the band full time. And we had some lineup changes since then. In fact, the next album is going to be even more lineup changes. But it's different. It became more band involved and less one person thing. And the reason we have all these lineup changes during the years is not because there's some personal issues or anything. We actually, everybody that's been in Arallu kind of stayed friends over the years. And it's more because it's a very intensive band with a lot of activity, and not many people can handle that for a long time. And so some people kind of just go out and do their own thing, and you know, and the core of us just keep on going, and probably till the day we die. So
I mean, I have to say, it's, you know, just listening to that story, and given when you started in the late 90s, and particularly the region you are from, I mean, it's very brave. And you know, you've probably got this question quite a bit, because we know there's some great bands that have come out from Israel, like Melakesh, and there's Bishop of Hexen, there's a lot. But you know, when you look at your album titles such as Satanic War in Jerusalem, The Demon from the Ancient World, Desert Battles, these themes, as you said, they're all around war and anti-religion, satanic type themes. Have you had to face a lot of backlash from your local communities given the evil nature of your metal? And how have you dealt with that as a band?
Well, actually, I gotta say, we don't get as much backlash from any religious leaders or communities. I mean, I don't know how much they even care, you know, about the metal underground scene or anybody doing. But you do get, once in a while, you do get the backlash. We don't, you know, when you live in a country like this, everything is a backlash. You know, even being just like regular guys, you always get something from someone. So we don't really pay attention to that. We kind of do what we want to do, and we actually got a lot of backlash in the beginning, at least, and even till today, from actually the metal scene itself. People really don't. We're kind of like the bad boys of this scene, and people don't really. I don't know. I guess metal as a whole, the community and the extreme metal scene, kind of changed over the years, and it used to be very, very aggressive, and it was music made by basically, I would call it street kids. Like, and they have a lot of anger and a lot of things to say. And today it's more like suburban kids, and you know, and kind of a lot of bedroom projects, and kind of people less experiencing like the realistic world, and more people experiencing like the virtual world. And they like, a lot of those people like their metal to be kind of nice metal, and that, like, doesn't like step on too many toes. And doesn't speak its mind, and doesn't, like, you know, everybody getting you know, upset about stuff these days, about everything. And we're kind of old school in that regard. We're all aggressive. We say what we want to say. We keep it real, and not many people like it, and we don't care. So
and that's black metal's design, really, isn't it? I mean, it was never designed to be pretty or well accepted, I suppose. But it's interesting, because that was one of the things I wanted to know, just your local metal scene from when you guys first started. Has it changed from then to now, and is it for better or worse in your own community? Is there a tight-knit metal community over there?
Well, it depends how you look at it. I would say there are a lot more professional bands today, a lot more kids today. They know how to play and produce, very high level. A lot of bands really going on tours and releasing albums, a lot more than it used to be in the past. So in a way, I guess that's good. What I would say is bad is, it seemed to me like old bands, they didn't release like quality stuff. It was really a lot of, you released a lot of demo level, even sounding albums, and they all had playing mistakes, and they all had this raw writing kind of level. But it seemed to me they were more creative. like they had more passion, and they tried to do more experiment and do different things and be original and be like influenced with a lot of stuff. Today it seems like bands just like have these other bands they want to sound like, and they just try to reach that sound, and they don't try to kind of develop their own thing, which is kind of sad because a lot of these bands are really good performers. They're good performers, they're good people, they're really good artists, but they just don't try to do anything original, and they just kind of just get lost in the stream, I guess. And that would be my biggest thing to say to any band today. Just, sit for like an hour or two and think about what makes you you. Don't try to be that other band, and I think Arallu had that like right from the beginning. I mean, you had a distinct style, and I think that's because Butcher kind of, he was trying in the beginning to sound like all the Norwegian black metal bands that he was influenced by, and I think he just kind of realized, this is their thing. They're influenced by their own folk music and their own region's history. And we can't connect to that. We'll never connect to that. We can't sing about winter and snow. We live in Israel. It's all desert and hot. But we do have our own thing here, and why not? Why not sing about what makes you you, and not what makes try to be somebody else? I mean, we got enough here, enough influences from our lives and from our history and from our mythology to create our own thing. And I think Arallu had that from the beginning, which makes it very easy to write albums because you already kind of know what the palette is. You already know what's good and what's not, and what fits and what doesn't, because you know your identity right from the beginning. So you don't need to search for it.
Absolutely, that's very inspiring for other bands that might be listening to this. That's for sure. Let's talk about some albums though, because you guys you've got a massive discography. I think you've done 7 full-length albums plus other releases. But one of the first releases which came out as a solo project was War on the Wailing Wall. It came out in 1999. And you guys are set to re-release this very soon. So I just want to ask you, when can we expect to get this re-release? And the biggest thing I had was, why are you re-releasing it? And is it an actual re-recording, so with the band actually playing, or have you just remixed and remastered the original?
Okay, I'll say this. The original album printing of this album was already sold out at one point. And we already re-released it on CD a few years back, I think, in 2009 or something. I don't remember. We re-released this album, and then we did kind of a remastered, and we changed the song order, and we did added some extra tracks, kind of live tracks and demos and stuff. What we are doing now is re-releasing it on vinyl. And it's that's something we always wanted to do, never got to it, and it's just and I think it's the original print just released on vinyl, and it's supposed to come out, I think, next month, I think, but it's I'm careful saying this because we do have all these COVID situations, and so things kind of shift around, but I think it's planned for next month. So.
That's exciting. Very cool. I hope to grab that on vinyl, that's for sure. It would be awesome to have on vinyl. Let's talk about the themes and the story and the influence behind the War of the Wailing. What is this album about? What's it been inspired by?
All right. So, like I said, this album came out in 1999, and like I said from before, it was really influenced by the situation in Israel. Kind of mixed with Mesopotamian mythology. So you have in this album you have a lot of aggression and a lot of songs about like killing and death and religious based themes of violence and um, and if you kind of listen to this album and if you read the lyrics and if you kind of close your eyes and imagine like what that sounds like, it sounds more like if you read the lyrics, you kind of never know if you're in like Mesopotamian, like ancient Mesopotamian battle, or if you're like in a modern, terrorist regime or something like that. But because it kind of goes back and forth, I would guess. But if you close your eyes and you really listen to it, it sounds very aggressive. I would say it's very, it sort of puts you like right in the middle of like a war zone, a modern war zone. I would think. It does have this like Mesopotamian myth undertones, but it's really it really feels like you're in the middle of like a modern war zone or like a terrorist attack or something like that. That's what that album sounds to me.
Yeah, definitely. It's total war. I mean, from start to the finish. It's a great album. If you haven't listened to it, go and have a listen to it. So COVID's mucked everything up. I mean, particularly for bands who are releasing albums this year, it's been a shocker because one of the first things bands want to do when they release an album, and you guys are just re-releasing War on the Wailing Wall, is to take it on tour. And you guys are you're no stranger to tours. You've done some massive support acts for bands such as Mayhem, Enslaved, Behemoth. What's your plan moving forward? I mean, are you planning to do a tour of this album once borders open up, or you can tour around your own country? And where can we maybe expect to see you guys tour? I know it's so hard to predict.
That's actually a good question because to be honest, we released our 7th album. I think when we released it like last year, and it's we've been playing shows based on that album, mostly around Israel and supporting some acts. We did play, and we were just starting to kind of set up some festivals and tours in Europe that should have happened this summer. I mean, we were supposed to be, I think, in entire June, we were supposed to be in Norway and other places, and even the UK, and there was a lot of stuff going on. We was even talk about playing South America, and then just COVID hit, and all those plans got postponed, I guess, till next year or whatever. So I guess once everything goes back to normal, we still have that album to tour, and now we have this release to tour. And in the meantime, we're in quarantine. We're writing a new album, so we're gonna have that. So I really don't know what we're gonna do once we get out of this. But
flat out touring by the sounds of it.
But it's gonna be. We're not gonna be bored. Let's say we're gonna have. We have a lot of stuff.
That's good to know, because even though the tour seems fairly dead at the moment, it's still interesting and important to know what the band's plans are. And it's good that you guys are thinking about it. I'm pretty sure most bands are. But that's exciting because you guys have done some pretty big European tours previously as well. So it'd be good to get back over there eventually.
Yeah, we want to do as much as we can anywhere. So we were really looking forward to it. We had some really good stuff already closed, and then the COVID situation. But I believe it's not canceled. I believe the stuff will just be postponed. So hopefully we'll get to do that. And in the meantime, we actually, like I said, we had some lineup changes. We had a new guitarist join us and a new drummer, and so it's a good time to kind of get those guys into the mix. And we're writing new songs. We're already pretty deep in writing into our next album. So we got music going on. We're not sitting and not doing anything. So.
Let's talk about this new album that you've got coming. What can we expect from this, and how does it vary from your previous work?
Oh well, it's hard to say because we're still writing it, so I don't know how stuff will end up at the end. But I can definitely say it's going to be. We already have different players, so it's a little bit different. Feel-wise, it's going to just be a little different. New guitar player and a new drummer. very, very aggressive metal players. So I assume that's going to translate to the album. It's going to be very aggressive. Saying that though, we are going deeper into that old Arabic, Middle Eastern sound. So and we're kind of going old school in the like song structure. We kind of like, I think the last two albums were really great, but the songs are very, very structured, and like I like the more chaotic kind of writing style that you had back in the day. You know, where we were just sitting on the bed with guitars and, you know, just whatever came to mind was just like, that's the song. So we're kind of going back to that. We're just writing really songs that tell a story. It's less about, verse and the chorus. It's more about like storytelling. And that's how it sounds right now. It might change by the time we release it or finish writing it. But to me, it sounds very, very, on one hand, very, very aggressive, going more back to the black metal roots. On the other hand, very, very oriental, very deeper oriental.
Sounds like a combination. Very much looking forward to that one, that's for sure.
Me too.
Definitely. You ticked all the boxes with everything you just said then.
Hopefully.
Your next release is being re-released through Essential Purification Records. Are you guys actually signed with this label, or are they just distributing the vinyl? And what is the relationship, and how important is the relationship between you and the label?
Well, it's to be honest, I don't do most of the business handling stuff. Butcher does that mostly, but as far as I know, it's very it's very business-like. We usually sign the label, we sign it for a specific release, and for a specific time. So I guess that's how it's going to be in this case. The label does its own distribution, but we never really count on that. We do our own as well. So we really focus on releasing, getting our music out there, and if the label helps with that, that's great. We love that. So, but we don't just sit there wait for somebody else to do our job. We do it, and we spread the word as much as we can.
Yeah, it's good to see, because you guys are both on your Facebook and your Instagram pages. You're pretty active in self-promotion, and it's good to see, because it's what you've got to do. There's so much good music around. You've just got to stand out. So it's really good to see that you guys do that. That's for sure.
Well, I'm actually specifically me. I'm a firm believer that the music speaks for itself. I mean, if you do good music, word of mouth is the best way. I mean, I'd rather have one person listen to my music, say, wow, this is really good, and tell 10 of their friends, than me trying to push music down somebody's throat. And I do really believe that bands that have nothing to say need to do that. Like, I sound like 1,000 other bands, so listen to me. But if you sound original, then you don't really need to worry about that. In a perfect world, in the real world, you do have to do the promotion, and so we do it. I think we actually do like a third of what we should be doing, because like we're limited by Facebook and Instagram or whatever, and about how much we can promote. But I think Butcher does a really good job with that. And but at the end of the day, I don't think you can polish shit. You have to have something good to polish if you want to polish
Absolutely.
it. So the music comes first. It has to be good music. It's easy to sell good music. It's hard to sell crap. So,
for sure, definitely. That's a good way to put
we're
it.
focused on that.
So let's talk merch and albums in general, because you've got quite a few. Are these all still available? Like, have you repressed them? Do you have a big cartel or a shop where people can go and have a look at your discography and purchase? And also, where's the best place to get your merch?
Well, the best place to get everything is from us. We have Bandcamp, and everything should be up there. And even if you're looking for something that's not up there, just drop us a line. And if we have it, we'll ship it. And if we don't, and enough people ask, we'll reprint or whatever. We usually try to reprint anything that's sold out. It's not always easy. Like, some albums sell out, and you got all these licensing deals and stuff, and you need to wait for a good time to do it. You don't want to release too many stuff at the same time. It's kind of just sits in the basement. You know, you want to do it when it's a good time to do it, and you can promote it. But so right now, I think our third album, the Demon from the Ancient World, I think that's a little bit harder to get right now.
Right.
I think maybe a few copies left, if at all. So that's actually like for like real true fans, I guess, because that album has like not so good production, I would say, and but it does have some of the best Arallu songs, I think. So people really kind of listen to the music. A lot of people say that's your best album, and it's like,
Yeah, right.
and it's really surprising because that album really has it's like the worst produced Arallu album, I would say. But it's but people who really take the time to listen to it eventually realize that it has really good songs. And we were talking about in the band to re-record that album for forever. We need to re-record that album, and we never get to it because when it comes down to it, we'd rather like work on new music than like do older music. So we never really get to it. Maybe we will in the future. I don't know. But that one is a little bit hard to get right now. Maybe we'll get some re-release of it. I don't know. We had the fourth album, Desert Battles. It was hard to get, but we reprinted that. So I think in 2018. So I think there's copies around. So we try to have everything out. But if somebody's looking for something special and it's not on our Bandcamp, just drop us a line. If we have a copy of it lying around, we'll send it. No problem.
That's awesome. Yeah, you guys are pretty easygoing bunch, that's for sure. I've spoken to a few of you over the last 12 months. So definitely if you need something off these guys, just shoot them a message. Don't harass them, just shoot them a message. Don't want to send
I think that's kind of like that's actually the easy part of today's technology. You can really reach out to anybody fairly simple. I mean, back in the day, we used to send, letters with stamps on them and with flyers and demos. It was like a demo trading before the internet kind of got big. And it used to be like a mail trading scene, and that would take forever to get stuff. And a lot of stuff it was hard to get to because we were trading demos from bands from Jordan and other countries that back in the day didn't have relations with Israel. So it was kind of like we were getting music from these places that you're not supposed to get music, and it was. Now it's very easy. Just kind of like write an email, write Facebook.
Yeah, everything's
most of the people
accessible. That's for sure. It's made it a lot easier for both bands and fans, I think. Really. So, sorry, my dog just had to get in the shot.
That's okay. I'm a dog person, so myself first. Yeah, it's not perfect. I mean, we did play a few years back. I think in 2013. I think we played the what's called the Persian Metal Fest. It was in Turkey, and the couple that produced this festival, they were really great, and they are actually refugees from Iran. They were kind of chased out because of their affiliation with metal music, and they moved to Turkey and they did some metal scene. Amazing story, amazing people. Yeah. And they had this festival, and a lot of the bands that came from to play in that festival were from all around the Middle East, like bands from Iran and from United Arab Emirates and in Lebanon. And we actually we met this bands from Lebanon and from Iran, and we really had a great time with them. We hung out, and like we can't really keep in touch with them like officially, so that's still an issue. Like right. not for us, nobody will do anything to us, but to them it might be a problem. So the world is still fucked up in that way. So
yeah, that's
the way.
Interesting. I mean, things that we take for granted, and you hear stories like that, it's crazy. Yeah, that's. I
mean, I've seen pictures of the guys who got lashed at in public because for listening to metal music, and they were threatened with death penalty. I mean, think about how much of a commitment you need to do to be committed to music and to metal to take that chance, like
absolutely
to get yourself in danger and your family. I mean, people in like most countries, like in today's metal scene, don't even understand that.
Mm.
You know, it's really not about your image or anything else. It's about like that's more. I don't care if that band doesn't sound great because they probably never get to do like rehearsals because they do everything really underground, and you know they might and they don't have many shows because they're not allowed to play shows. So they might not sound tight. They might not play the best, but they're more metal than anybody I ever met because they really put it on the line to do their art. No, and I don't think a lot of bands can say that.
No, that's completely inspiring. That's yeah, we're so far removed from that sort of world, so it's interesting, and I'm glad that you did bring that up because a lot of people do take our freedoms for granted. That's for sure.
You just gotta keep it in mind, like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're gonna do this music, this is not like pop music. You're not gonna be famous and on like MTV or something or whatever. This is art. You know, if you do this music, you gotta have something to say, and it has to be like your thing. Like, look, you know, I'm a different person than you are, and you're a different person than your neighbor, and everybody's a different person. Just find out what makes you you, and make sure that your music kind of expresses that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good advice.
You see a lot of phones around, and I don't get the point. Like, I don't get why spend all that time and all that energy on something that just been done to death or just doesn't identify with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't think any band like that really survives for a long time. So.
Yeah, true. Very true. Well, Pixel, this has been very, very interesting to talk to you. I'd hope to be able to catch up with you again down the track, maybe after the album's been released and maybe when you're heading on a tour next year, let's hope. Let's hope everything eases back to normal. Fingers crossed.
Maybe we get back to where you live. Which part of are you from?
I'm on the east coast of Australia, not far from Sydney. So beautiful part of the world through.
I actually was in Sydney once. I was in the Gold Coast once too. I was in around that part.
Heaps better on the east coast.
I've never been to any other coast, so I think that
we would welcome you guys with open arms. That's for sure. So do keep us in mind if you're doing a tour. That's for sure. But if there's anything else you would like to leave people that are watching this, go for it.
Well, I guess if you haven't checked us out, then check it out. Check us out. You know, that's the whole point of it anyway. I mean, we got some good tunes, and if you haven't heard of it, then you know this is a good opportunity. Just go listen to the music, and hopefully you enjoy it.
I concur. Go and have a listen to Arallu. They are absolutely brutal. Thank you so much, Pixel. This has been awesome.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Nice talking to you.
Bye.